Hello. I was going for like butch 80s vibes today. Do you like it? No? That's okay. Today I'm gonna do a video I've been excited about for a while, which is I want to talk about scents that are marketed towards men, but which I think work really well for your average female customer. And you're going to get a real sense that I have a bias towards certain scent profiles here because these are really scents that I like personally to wear. So this may not be everybody's idea of male scents for women. These are scents that I personally think work really well for me. The first thing to say is that obviously anybody can wear any scent, regardless of their gender identity. And that most of this is just marketing. But there's certain scents that we associate with the male customer and certain scents that we associate with the female customer and certain scents that tend to be more, unisex. And I do generally gravitate towards more traditionally female scents. I like vanilla, I like florals, but I also like spices and woods. And so when a scent has some of those elements, even if it's marketed towards men, I sometimes really like it. And there's another thing, which is that I think sometimes because of the way that marketing works and because of the way that our culture functions, we often have this sense that things that are more masculine coded indicate a real sense of power and authority. And obviously, I would love to feel like, an authoritative and powerful person, even when wearing like Britney Spears' Midnight Fantasy. But essentially, it's okay. My chair's moving. It's okay and valid to gravitate towards things that give you that sense of power and authority and that make it easy and accessible for you to access that feeling, even if that means going in a stereotypically masculine direction. Anyway, let's get started. The first one I'm going to mention I don't have, but I wish I had it, and that is Valentino Uomo Intense. Wait. Valentino Uomo Intense. I love this scent. I actually really like the whole Valentino line. My husband does too. He has like 6 of their scents, and then I have 2, so I guess together we have 8. Anyway, I'd really like this one for myself. This is a smooth, sweet iris. It has nutmeg, it has leather. You get the nutmeg right from the beginning, the spiciness. The thing that I really love about it is it has this vanillic undercurrent. It's a scrumptious vanilla. It's somewhat powdery and it's in the base. And it's like a puffy, powdery, vanillic iris with a bit of spice to give it that unisex vibe. And the sense I get from this perfume is like super well put together, super confident. It wears like really nice clothing, but the clothing is like made of natural fibers and it's like somewhat cozy, but it's still very elegant. And this person probably is very confident and somewhat powerful, but it's kind of low key and you can't really tell necessarily by looking at them that they're like secretly quite a boss. So this is actually probably my favorite of the male Valentino line. Now here's the woman. She's elegant. She's natural. She's confident. She's beautiful, but we're all beautiful. That sweater is made of merino wool. She's probably quite wealthy, but she doesn't flaunt it. Her hair is messy, but it's still very clean and elegant. This is the Uomo Intense woman. Okay, what's next? On the subject of Valentino Uomo, probably should have started with this one, but I didn't, is Valentino Uomo Not Intense. Although I do in some ways find this one more intense. This is much more woody. It's much more nutty, spicy, almost chocolatey. It has a chocolate note in there. This opens up a bit green, a bit spicy, but it mellows into a really sweet, round, warm scent. Like I say, it opens with this bergamot. It starts to become a bit nuttier. It has bitter chocolate and vanillic, a vanillic creamy element. It's definitely woody, but it's woody in a sweet, creamy, sultry, chocolatey way. It's woody in a cabin-y way, if that makes sense. Like a cozy woodiness. Yeah, I feel like I'm in a cabin in the woods and I'm smelling the logs that the cabin is made of. I have a mug of hot chocolate next to me, but that mug of hot chocolate has a splash of coffee in it. So the woman, I imagine, is outdoorsy and she's cool and stylish, but she's quite casual and she enjoys being comfortable and cozy. Maybe she lives in a cabin and loves baking and honey. No, hiking, not honey. I don't know where that came from. I would definitely say that when you smell it, it comes off a bit more stereotypically masculine than Uomo Intense. Well, they both come off masculine, but in a different way. This is much more in like a woody way, and the Uomo Intense is more like an irisy kind of classic boardroom men's scent sort of way. But especially as this dries down, and same thing with Uomo Intense, it gets a bit sweeter and more stereotypically feminine. But I don't feel uncomfortable at all wearing this, even in the opening. Oh, here's my woman. My Uomo woman. She is outdoorsy. She enjoys the feeling of the crisp breeze on her face. She's gonna go back home to her cabin with her dogs shortly and make herself a mug of hot chocolate. And I really like her jacket. That jacket gives me the vibes of this perfume. Next. Oh my god, I love this one. This one I might rank even above Uomo Intense. This is a scrumptious scent to me. This is Givenchy? Anyway, it's Gentleman Reserve Privée. Look at it. So this is a beautiful iris scent. It is an iris scent with a really well blended chestnut element that also comes off kind of chocolatey. It's sweet but not overwhelming. The chestnut is really delectable. It's a very tasty scent. It's iris just like the Uomo Intense, but it is it's a little bit less of a cool and reserved scent and more warm, and I wouldn't say gourmand, but it leans a little bit more in that direction with the chestnut and with the whiskey. It also has bergamot in the opening, just like Uomo, but that doesn't really stick around very much for me. It's just a really delightful and delectable scent. It especially warms up and gets quite tasty after about 30 minutes. What this scent brings to mind to me is like a man in a study, surrounded by curios, with a glass of whiskey, reading a tome of some sort. So that's the kind of person, the kind of woman I generated also. And this is both my favorite scent, and this is the woman that I most want to be. Let me go on a little bit of a tangent here and say it was so difficult to get them to generate this woman. I started with like a scholar in a chair. Obviously came out with a man, so I did a woman, and it was not exactly what I was intending. It was a little bit more sexualized than I was going for. I had to put in some words to get a woman who was less sexualized. I had to put in the word old, I had to put in the word messy, I had to put in the word ugly to get a woman who was a little bit less sexualized than they were giving me in the first place, which was annoying. Anyway, I like how she turned out. She looks adventurous, but she looks studious. She looks serious and intellectual, but at the same time, like, she doesn't take anything too seriously. I love her. And I love this perfume. Wait 1 second. You don't have to wait. Okay, next up, the trifecta. This is Jean Paul Gaultier, Le Male, the Parfum, Le Male Elixir, and Ultra Male. The one that I'm not including is Le Male, the EDP, because I just don't like it as much. These three, though, love them. Let's start with Ultra Male. Despite the name, this is Ultra Me. This is creamy and sweet. The opening is a little bit in the aftershave, like shaving cream direction, which is my pet peeve with male scents. I hate it when they smell like a men's bathroom with shaving cream and like hair and I don't know what that is. Somebody tell me what that is. But anyway, it starts almost immediately mellowing into this beautiful vanillic pear with the sprinkling of cinnamon. Reminds me of eating a baked pear with cinnamon. As a woman, I think this would read very cozy and very warm. It's a little bit of that stereotypically masculine edge. I think from the aromatics, there's lavender in there, sage, but it's definitely unisex, I think. I mean, it's not supposed to be, but it's strong. It lasts a while, and I love the dry down. The dry down has this patchouli, this ambery patchouli with this cedar, and it starts to cool down the sweetness that you get in those middle notes and top notes with the pear and the cinnamon and the vanilla as well. It makes it into this like lovely, cool vanilla unisex waxy mint scent that I really love. It reminds me of this candle. Has anybody tried this candle? It's my favorite candle in the world. I have 4 of them because every time they come into stock at Bath & Body Works, I buy all of them. And they didn't have them last Christmas anyway. It reminds me of that dry down. Now, this candle's a little bit sweeter, but this is absolutely a marvelous dry down. So the woman is a cozy, warm, affectionate woman who likes to have fun and be experimental, but also to be comfortable. Here she is. She's the like cool younger sister of the Uomo intense girl. She is a little eccentric, but in a sweet way. She's a little messy and a little outgoing, but deep down she's actually quite practical and cool and calm. She has a relaxing vibe. The next one, Loewe Parfum. This is like the older brother of the Loewe line. This is a woody vanilla with a slightly aromatic and slightly powdery element. It's less cozy than Ultramale, less cologne-y than the Loewe EDP. It's more like a cool, confident scent with just enough spice to make it seductive and alluring. It has iris, but it's not as much iris as in either Uomo Intense or Gentleman Privée. It's just enough iris to cool down that sweet vanilla. It almost smells minty. I love this one. It's a little bit probably more stereotypically masculine than the other 2 Loewe's, but definitely in a way where I don't feel not feminine when I'm wearing it. And here is my woman. She is super confident. I think she's a boss. I think she works like in a boardroom and commands people. She's emotionally mature and dominating, but not in a bullying way. She's just proud and confident, and she's quite in control of herself and others. Between the 2, Loewe Le Parfum and the first one, Ultramale, I prefer this one because it's just a little bit more confident. This is just through and through a cool, confident, vanillic masterpiece. And the more I smell it, I mean, it does have that those masculine notes, the lavender, the spices, but it really is. If this was in a different bottle, sold at a niche place, it'd be no problem selling it as a unisex scent. Okay, the final Loewe Elixir. This is the newest one. This is an immediate hit of sweetness. It's like an immediate cool vanilla opening. All 3 of them have this cool vanilla, which I guess is my way of saying like a minty aromatic vanilla. But this is the coolest vanilla, while also being the sweetest. And I think it's because I immediately feel like I've walked into an ice cream shop. It's not, at the same time, it's not really cloying or heavy. It's icy and refreshing and sweet. The mint really pairs well with the vanilla. I feel like this one, rather than being pure unisex though, it's gender shifting. It's gender iridescent. I just made that up. I think that's really cool. One moment it feels kind of cologne-y and kind of aftershavey, and the next moment it's pure sweetness from the honey and the vanilla. I love it for this. I think it is not super complex though. I just think it dances between 2 different extremes very sublimely and alluringly. It is very, very sweet though. It's very strong, so you don't need very much. And the honey note in this is quite reminiscent to me of the honey note of Scandal by Night, which I love, which is like a waxy honey note. It lacks the cherry that Scandal by Night has, but this scent still reads to me like a more unisex version of Scandal by Night. I mean, it's definitely not a dupe, but it has a similar DNA, which I guess makes sense. It's the same designer. It's super tasty, and it has a sweet, waxy, beeswaxy dry down that maybe leans a touch too ambery to be my favorite of the 3. The favorite dry down is still for me the first one, but if you like a sweet ambery dry down, then you'll like this one. So for my woman who's wearing this, I decided to not go with a woman so much as a gender fluid person. Honey-colored hair to represent the honey note. This person is classy, but also somewhat bohemian, and very fun-loving and adventurous, but they know what they're about and they're confident. The next one is L'Instant de Guerlain, the EDT. This opens a peppery vanillic citrus scent, and it gets more peppery too as the citrus dries off. But it mellows eventually into this sort of sensual lemon bundt cake flavor. Scent. It's not too sweet. It's like a creamy, calm, aromatic sweetness. And it's sophisticated and refined and timeless, I think. Even though it is this, to me, it smells like a bundt cake. It's a timeless bundt cake. It's also quite classy, I think, and quite professional, but not uptight. More like a chill and casual professionalism. So my woman for this is classy, she's friendly and sweet with a calm demeanor, and quite professional and well put together, but has a fun-loving edge and is quite warm and inviting. The type of person who is a great coworker, but is also a great friend. Okay, I have some honorable mentions. I'll explain why each of them is honorable as a mention, but not my favorite as we go on. I also don't have generated images for all of them because I didn't think I had a good enough grasp on all of them, but the ones that I did generate ladies for. The next one is going to be Tom Ford Ombre Leather. Oh, it's the Parfum, by the way. I'm just realizing now that this is a unisex perfume, and I feel so stupid. If we were doing unisex perfumes, there's like a whole million more that I would have talked about. Whatever. I'm still going to talk about it because it's very stereotypically masculine, I think. This just smells like a new car to me. And this has a bunch of notes in it. Jasmine, violet leaf, cedar. All I smell is leather. Maybe somebody with a more sophisticated nasal palette would be able to do a better analysis. But the reason that I mentioned this one is because I think this would be an absolutely killer perfume for the right kind of person. This is an honorable mention for me because if I were to wear this perfume, it would wear me. The type of woman I imagine wearing this, I think this woman would be very confident and very cool. And I think I'm confident enough, but I'm not very cool. So if I was wearing this perfume, it wouldn't seem like a deliberate choice. It would seem like, oh, did I trip and accidentally fall into a new car or something? Like, it would smell quite incidental on me. Like, oh, you smell like leather. That's weird. I imagine a very confident, executive type woman, high heels, black clothing that is perfectly tailored, slicked back hair, a bit subversive. She's so confident that she can break the rules. And so I generated her. She's perfect. This is one spectrum of humanity. This is the other. Nothing wrong with being on either side. But some of us can't wear leather scents. A couple other honorable mentions. Spicebomb. This is vanillic, sweet, Christmas vibes to me. Feels very cozy, like I'm inside of a spice cake. And I've never had a spice cake, but I imagine that if you were inside of a spice cake, it would smell like this. I like it. I don't love it, but it's good. Next honorable mention. Gemme Gyan? Is that right? From Bvlgari. This is my favorite patchouli option. It's like if you took the citrus and the florals and the sweetness out of Coco Mademoiselle and just left that patchouli. I like this. I like the incense note in the background. I wouldn't say this is a particularly interesting scent, but if you want to smell like more unisex but the same vibes as Coco Mademoiselle, try this one. Another one, Déclaration. I mentioned this because it smells like exactly like a hardware store, like wood chips. If you want to smell like you are in a hardware store, which sometimes I do, then try this one. We used to go to the hardware store a lot as a kid. And again, I don't think this would smell deliberate on me. I think this would smell like a wood chip accident, but I still quite like it. And I think, like if you aren't interested in presenting yourself in a masculine way, I don't think this wouldn't come off as too masculine. A couple that people always mention that I think they definitely have unisex vibes are Althaïr and Herod. from Parfum de Marly. Unfortunately, neither of them quite work for me. Althaïr is a nice, really nice cinnamon vanilla scent with prominent orange blossom. It's quite tasty, but it's just oddly it has that like synthetic baby doll head smell to me, and I don't know if that's just me, but it just doesn't quite work. And then Herod, it smells like melted margarine to me. It smells unctuous and oily. I can't smell what other people smell in it, so I don't know why. It just smells like if anybody has ever boiled artichokes and dipped them in melted margarine, it smells like that. Which is one of my favorite foods, but I don't want to smell like it. Okay, the next honorable mention is an honorable mention because I don't love it, but I like it and I see where it's going and I just feel like it's 80% there. And this is Lolita Lempicka Masculin. This is like a boozy floral scent. It's like a spicy rum with violets floating in it. It's a bit old-fashioned. I asked my husband what he thought of it and he said it smells like dead booze, which is not the most flattering. But I just imagine rum from the night before that some violets have fallen into next to a plate of marzipan. And it does have a bit of the like licorice scent that Lolita Lempicka has and a slight herbaliness. But this is quite soft. It just gives it a little bit of bite and like an edge. But this on the whole has this like vague headiness to it. Like if your eyes were your nose, you would be looking at it through like a fogged up window. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I like this. I definitely don't think this is overly masculine. It's like almost a sad scent to me, like a little bit depressing. And so that's why I don't love it. I did make a lady for this. I asked for a Norman Rockwell painting. I feel like this is a nostalgic scent with a hint of melancholy to it. She is in front of a vanity, thinking about days gone by. She has the makeup on from last night, from a party. And she's a little bit sad. She's a little bit hungover and a little bit depressed. Pretty but tired. This is a pretty but tired scent. One more I want to mention is Solo Loewe, the Eau de Cologne. And this is a sweet, fresh, fruity scent. Different than anything that I would normally wear. But I do think this is quite unisex. It has this guava in the top notes that's quite juicy, delicious, a little tropical. But there's also a bit of warm spice in there that blends nicely with that fruitiness. And as it dries down, the fruitiness goes away actually quite quickly, maybe too quickly, and you're left with something herbal and gardeny. It smells to me exactly like fennel. Is that the caraway? Oh yeah. Apparently caraway is not the same thing as fennel, but it's sometimes called meridian fennel, so they smell very similarly. Yeah, so this is sentimental to me, and I like it because it smells like fennel, because my dad used to have fennel in the garden. I think this is a nice one for like a light, herbally, fresh scent if you want to go more in that direction. I've mostly been talking about warm, spicy scents, so this is something a little bit outside of that still reads to me quite unisex. And people compare it with Azzaro Chrome. I don't know if that's accurate. I don't think I like Azzaro Chrome, so but I don't remember very well what my thoughts on it were. So that's all of the ones I had to talk about, but I love doing this. I love looking into like male scents and seeing which ones that I feel like very comfortable wearing or excited to wear. So I'm going to keep trying them, and if I gather more that I want to talk about, maybe I'll do another video. In the meantime, thank you so much if you're watching. I can't thank you enough, and I would be so grateful for a like and subscribe. I also have an art channel that you can check out that is on its first legs. So it's, if you want to help that grow, that would be also immensely kind of you. Okay. Thank you for watching. Bye.